please put your hands together, everybody, for Huntsville's former #1 homeless comedian. Wait, do you have a home this week?
Kind of. Not really.
It's a point in contention. Anyway, the current, sometimes #1 homeless comedian, Joel Elliott.
I mean, what is home, really? It's, I don't know, it's all glass, concrete, and stone. They're just the buildings go from one place to another. Yeah, my name is Joel Elliott. I really should have thought about, like, how it would affect my dating prospects to become an icon for destitution and mental illness. Like, that's not really been helping matters lately. I got real depressed about it, and I was like, I should go out and be around people, but then I came here. I don't make good decisions, I guess is my point. I actually walked in on a party just the other day, and and this friend of mine handed me some mushrooms, and they had just moved into the apartment, so they hadn't really unpacked yet. And so I spent the night just headbutting boxes, waiting for coins to come out, because like I said, I'm pretty poor. And they weren't that kind of mushrooms, it turned out. And actually, they were portobello, so people were really kind of concerned. Did I mention I'm mentally ill? Okay. No, that's a stereotype. Like, mentally ill people aren't like Dr. Phil says, foaming at the mouth and whatnot. That's an actual quote that Dr. Phil, he was like, "Oh no, crazy people are the people that foam at the mouth and howl at the moon. No, crazy people are your spouses that torture you in private, but then in public they're very, very nice people." I'm not speaking from experience or anything, but yeah, so a lot of people in town, I mean, because what's in a name? Nobody learns people's names. I still see her over there as that Caucasian lady that does comedy. I still haven't learned. It's Jessica. It's Angela. Yeah, I got the syllables right. I'm terrible with names myself, and so I don't get offended really, but I put a bunch of web shows on YouTube, and they're titled Stuck in Huntsville, because I kind of landed here on accident. And it's gotten to a point, I started spreading it on the Reddits. I call it the Reddits because I'm very old. But I started spreading it on the Reddits, and people were watching it, and I was at the Whole Foods, and a cashier turned around and was like, "Hey, are you stuck in Huntsville?" "Yes! Oh my God, yes, I'm very stuck. I'm extremely..." "Oh no, the web show. Yeah, that too. I do, yes, I'm the host of that." I love the fact that I've created this image around myself where people will just ask me if I'm stuck here. And I'm like, yes, indeed I am. Who isn't, though? I brought that up at a mic the other day, and people clapped about feeling stuck here, Huntsville, it's because Huntsville is the most sophisticated area you can find in the Deep South, apart from, we're right in the middle. There's this area of sanity in a world of scary, scary Trump supporters. It's, I'm afraid for the elections. I'm afraid that there is a chance that he might get in. But at the same time, I mean, that really could be the best thing for us in our industry, because we don't have to write any material anymore at that point. It's just gonna write itself. I've been getting such Twitter play out of Trump, up until he changed campaign managers. 5 days ago, Trump was just flailing around on Twitter, and he was just saying all sorts of crazy things. Now it's nothing but just, "Thank you, Akron, Ohio." He's really reined it in. I'm not getting as much play, but I got some headway. Today, I saw Paula Abdul, no shit, Paula Abdul followed me on Twitter today. And I was like, yeah, it was amazing. My life is completely different now. I mean, music executives from around the country are calling my phone. I haven't spoken to any of them because I'm an artist. It's not on. My phone shut off a month and a half ago. But, but when I get a service industry job and turn that phone back on, man, yeah, then, no, nothing's gonna happen. But I'm happy that Paula Abdul, I think it's just still probably because she's still taking a lot of pills. There's no reasonable reason that somebody on that level of fame should be watching my shows. or even aware of me. Because I am an icon or a symbol for poverty and mental illness, whenever somebody follows me on Twitter, my first question for them is, "Oh, I'm sorry, who hurt you? Like, why is it that you're connecting with this? Was it your uncle?" It's usually somebody's uncle. That is a thing, though. That stranger danger is such a myth. I mean, yes, okay, there are kids getting snatched from playgrounds, like, occasionally, but for the most part, it's a family member. That is what it tends to be, Like, we shouldn't be telling our kids, like, watch out for that like, if the stranger talks to you weird, go find Uncle Phil, and, like, we should be saying, if Uncle Phil looks at you funny, go find a stranger and ask them for help. That's really, if you look at the numbers, the strangers are safer. Maybe I'm just flashing back to the fact that, like, all the people close to me, like, things didn't work out. I was married once, and that's how I got here. That stuff got dark. I miss it though. There's like a hole in my life where the abuse used to sit. Like, that's just the truth. Like, nobody's told me to kill myself in, like, over 2 years, and it makes me edgy. I know, I should be celebrating. Nobody's saying, like, you don't belong here, and you shouldn't be here, and here's some scissors, put those on your neck. Like, I just wish that, like, if you guys were really my friends, you would tell me how worthless I am, so I could feel sane for once. I have got to talk more with the therapist, clearly, because that's not good. That's not. We're gonna dig out of that. They decided that my self-medication regimen is just fine. I'm pretty happy with that. See, back in the day, I did get a lot of psychiatric treatment, and they escalated the treatment up to, like, from the light drugs to the heavy drugs to the really heavy drugs. And then you've seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? They suggested electroshock therapy, and that was the point at which I was like, I'm gonna get a second opinion from Dr. Santos, who is my coworker at the Blockbuster Video. Dr. Santos has got, he's got these little baggies of medication that I'm gonna try. So yeah, I started trying, I did a trial of medical marijuana. That was 1998. I'm still trying it. I'm still just seeing if it's gonna work out. But yeah, no, I got diagnosed recently, like, just freshly, because it had been a while, and it was such a routine thing. Like, people get so scared to, like, get a mental health diagnosis. Like, people are like, but what if I find out that I have something? It's like, okay, the fact that you've been, like, waking up and weeping for the first half an hour each day, that's the problem. It's not like you're gonna go there and they're like, you're depressed. I'm like, oh no, now I'm depressed. No, all those things before are why you should talk to somebody about it. It's like, because I'm so old hat at it, and, like, I came in and, chatted with the receptionist, because itty bitty city committee, this woman cannot get away from me. When I checked into the mental health center, I met the receptionist, we had a nice conversation, then she ran into me downtown, and then she ran into me at the Black Lives Matter protest. We held hands while the sheriff of Madison County prayed for us. Like, that's how close I am with this. Like, so, like, when I went to get diagnosed, it was, I sat there for 5 minutes, we, chatted it up, it's a nice time, sat with the doctor, it was all casual. Like, when she gave me at the end of the appointment, when she gave me the diagnosis, I was like, okay, so like, diagnostically, what are we talking here, And she was like, well, PTSD, check, bipolar, check, borderline personality disorder, check. I was afraid she was gonna keep going, because, like, those three I know about, I was afraid we were gonna, like, start escalating to schizophrenia or something. And I'd have to be my own schizophrenic from now on, because I don't know. My whole life I've been like an onk for schizophrenic people. When I was using the light rail to get to work back in Baltimore, I got on the light rail one day and there was a guy having a very animated conversation. I looked up from a Newsweek and I realized nobody's listening to this man. He is just having a conversation into the ether. And so I started just nodding. I made eye contact and started nodding at certain points. And so he then was just focused on me. And now, and I'm all the way across the subway car. But he is now just talking directly to me. And so I get off the light rail, I get on then the next day for the same commute, same guy's there, only this time when he sees me, he comes walking by, I'm sitting reading my Newsweek again, he comes walking by and he goes, "The Wizard." And just keeps walking. And from that point on, I was the wizard in his world. He would ask me how things were at Oz and all sorts of, we talk about the crystals aligning. Talking with schizophrenic people is so much fun. I recommend it. When I got to Huntsville, I ran into my schizo friend Sean a lot. His name's Sean. He's kind of schizophrenic. He's a very, very scary, intense man. Nothing that comes out of his mouth makes sense. But I would sit down with him for a half an hour and talk with him. And, there were hugs and whatnot, because I'm like, nobody's hugging Sean. I'm going to give Sean some hugs, And I got so close with him that now when he sees me, he calls me Uncle Emery. And so, when he's talking to other people and going on about his Uncle Emery, and they're like, "Oh, that's just Sean making stuff up again." No, that's me. I'm Uncle Emery. I am a figment of a schizophrenic person's imagination. It's great. Or I feel that way because I have a lot of existential problems. I'm actually not sure if you guys are real or if I'm a figment of your imagination. I have to be real, because where's all this pain coming from? Why would I be doing comedy if I wasn't real? Because this is a life somebody should be living. You guys are so great. Thank you for sitting through me, taking you down these dark paths like I do every week. I'll be performing on a show that Matthew has. In September, and I'm going to be doing a half hour in October at Hops Wild, doing music, comedy. I might juggle. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But sing. Yeah. Okay. There we are. Okay. Can we make this more awkward? You can follow my awkward handle on Twitter by following at awkward handle on Twitter. Maggie Meyers, you have been great. I, on the other hand.